Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series of Tinies from Small Victories by Johanna Basford using Black Widow pencils. Again, we have a really simple leafy design today. I'm just having a little think about how to do this one. There we go. We did this one with different colours going up. Yeah, I don't want to do it all. I mean, you could just grab a green and block it in. You know, that's nice and easy. But we won't do that. We'll choose a different selection of colours. Maybe we could do something slightly autumnal, although we've got quite autumnal colours here. I'm just having a little look at what I've got. I think I'm going to do some bluey green type colours. Actually, I might show you something. So if you run out of green, now how many of you run out of green? I've got my hand up. I'm always running out of green. We can do an alternative colour to green, but to make green from blue and yellow. So maybe I can show you how to do that on these leaves. So it's a sort of slightly different thing for you, something that you might already know and do, but you may not. So let's have a little go. So the key thing to remember is that when I first start, I don't want to burnish my colour right into the page. So I am going to start with this colour, Blue Moon. I want to be able to cover this colour with some yellow. Okay, so I need to be gentle with it. Oh, look how I've just smudged that there. That's why you're supposed to use a brush. So be really gentle. And although I want it darker down here in this base of this petal, I don't want it as dark as it can be. So like that. And then the same on this one. Now if you like blue, you can leave your leaves blue. There's absolutely no reason why not. I've never seen a tree with blue leaves, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. Have some fun. But I am going to show you how to make them into green. Now, as I was saying in a previous video, these pencils don't smush together completely, so we have to encourage them with layering. I'm going to use a lighter blue now. I think I'm going to use this ocean colour. Okay, now I want to go over the blue I've done already and then take it all the way to the tip. But again, be very careful with the amount that you're putting down. You need to leave some tooth in the paper for the yellow to sit on top, or else you're just going to end up with blue ocean, which you might like, but just be aware. So just take it slowly and gently. Now, what if this goes wrong? What if the yellow that I put on top doesn't work? What if I have burnished it too hard? Now, I can either leave it blue, but if you've got a pen, you can play around. So if you've got some gel pens or some acrylic pens, you can just go over the top of what you've done wrong. You know, if you do think it's wrong. I've done that a few times before, rescued something that didn't look quite right. You also have an eraser, which I need to use over there, where you can rub out anything that's not quite right. Now, colour-wise, I think I'm going to grab the Lemonade. It's quite a bright yellow. I need something that's going to stand out quite well. And now I'm just going to put it over the top of this whole section here. You want to layer it up, and eventually it will change colour. Now you can see why I say if you've burnished, it's not gonna look very green. But hopefully it looks more yellow, looks more green than blue. if you can experiment with different shades of blue and yellow and see what different shades of greens you can get. Now, I would say a more purpley blue would give you a very different result to a brown, no, a sort of grey blue, you know. And if you want to make, say, an olive green, I think you would need to use a sort of more browny yellow, perhaps, and a more neutral blue rather than a really dark one. But you can play around. So there is that one done. Actually, I'm still playing around with it, to be honest. But you can make yourself even a little swatch chart where you add different colours, and then you can remember what goes with what and what colour, what sort of shade it makes. That still looks quite blue to me. I think I'm going to try a slightly darker yellow. I think if I put the mustard on top, it's going to make it look a lot more green. Thing is, I have layered up a lot, so I may not have any tooth left in my paper. So this mustard is more of a browny yellow, so this will give you more of an olive depending on the shade of blue. So it's you would need to just experiment with your different colours to see what different effects you can get. There we go, I'm happy with that now. That was quite short, but it was just an idea. I mean, most people, but not everyone, knows that blue and yellow makes green. But it's a little bit daring to try and do that with your pencils. But as I say, when your greens run out, maybe you do have blue and yellows, or maybe you have the sort of peaches might work with a blue, or a very light brown. You know, experiment with what you've got on some scrap paper. You'll find also, though, that some pencils are much better at blending and layering and giving you the effects that you want than others. So you may have to try with different sets. But it's a good way to make your pencils last, because often if all the greens are used up, I sort of tend to think, oh, well, that's that then, you know, I've got no pencils. But of course, if you do this sort of thing, then you can extend the use of them, or, you know, you don't have to then do blue leaves, you know, which you may not feel comfortable with. Right, well, that is that one done. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow. We've got a double-headed floral to do tomorrow, so that'll be fun. But for now, thank you for watching. Have a super day and happy colouring.